Okay, so it's time to find out what crushable beer tastes like exactly. Hey, I'm Brendan, welcome back to Views on Brews, and this is Mcgargles Citra, or Sammy's actually, Sammy's Citra Extra Pale Ale. Let's have a look at this one. Okay, so Mcgargles. Mcgargles is part of a range. Rye River Brewing Company have a whole different set of ranges of beers depending on where they're selling them. This is the Mcgargles range of beers, which is what Rye River started off brewing. And what they've now come to do is can a lot of their beers that were originally bottled. And they've now got the little handy 4-packs that come in a 4-pack carton, and this is one of them out of it. Sammy Citra Extra Pale. Not quite sure who Sammy is. I'm sure I could do a bit of digging around, but anyway, Citra Extra Pale Ale has 4.5% volume, and what does it say about it? Citrus and hops, fresh and crisp, light and crushable. Crushable is an interesting thing because it's kind of like one of those American phrases of like, it's totally crushable to drink this beer, and it's one of those beers that you can just absolutely smash, basically. I mean, it's such a small can, you could probably crush this in one big gulp if you chose to. Anyway, I've had this out of the fridge 10 minutes. We're gonna lash it open now. We're gonna see what a crushable beer is. Like, it's best before June of 21, so we've got 11 months. I'm expecting this to be a year's best before date on it. So this is only brewed last month. So brand new beer as well. I've not seen Sammy Citra Extra Pale, so it must be brand new. I've given it a bit of a dent coming out of the fridge, but anyway, we'll give this one a go and let's see what it tastes like. Ooh. Okay. Very clear pouring out of the glass. I'm gonna see now if I can get some info on the side of the can about the beer itself, or does it just mean it's just a very plain base of barley and wheat. Okay, so there's barley and wheat in it. Wheat's going to help give it an extra bit of body with a bit of depth of malt character, maybe a bit breadier, but it's a very light complexion to the beer. A good bit hazy, and a reasonable amount of carbonation coming off of it. I'm going to give it the old Brendan spin up and get something going in this beer. Okay, yeah. Very light head on it. Yeah, it took a bit of a spin up of the head really to get it going. It looks, just before I get into tasting it, it looks fairly light bodied. Now I can't be sure about that, but the head is fairly tame, and it is tapering off fairly quickly. So I'm interested to see now, does that carry through to the mouthfeel of the beer? It is 4.5%, so it should be able to hold a bit of a mouthfeel and drinkability to it without it being too thin. I mean, it does say it's light on the side, so that's actually interesting. They make the point of actually telling you, going to the trouble to tell you it's light. Light, crushable, fresh, crisp, citrus and hops. Okay, enough waffling on about this. Let's try this beer. Cheers, lunch out, all that good stuff. Hope you're enjoying a beer wherever you are. Okay, it is a light mouthfeel beer. It does not have too much of a yeah, it's a light mouthfeel beer. It's quite interesting. I'm going to give it another go here. The beer is fairly cold, but the head just will not stick around no matter what I do. So that's a little bit of a shame, if I'm honest about it. I'd like to see a bit more head on this beer, or it to be able to stick around. It's not too big of a deal, but when you get a nice head on the beer, it lets you drink it and it's a bit creamier. I just wonder, like, the fizzing on this beer is quite on the loud side, to be honest with you. And it doesn't really matter what I do, that head just keeps going away. Anyway, aromas of the beer. Definitely getting, it's Citra, but I am getting a lot of like almost like melon and citrus together. A little bit of stone fruit, maybe a bit of lychee. Lychee is the way now. What I find with Citra hops is that you can get different things from the hop, depending on what sort of malt character you've got going on in the background and when the beer was hopped itself. So there's a lot going on the aromas. I would just say that's very, very pleasant aroma on that beer. Very, very pleasant indeed. Nice citrus, a bit of a nice citrus. I get melon off of it and maybe a bit of lychee. Anyway, very, very pleasant aroma. The head, as you can see, is just totally gone. I'm going to give it one more spin just for the camera, and I'm going to go a bit nuts because I want to see, can I get a head on this beer or not? Now that's given it the best opportunity to have a good, decent head on it at all. But I can tell just by the sound of the fizzing, it is going to pop away the head. Anyway, let's get into a little bit of this and try it out. Very, very nice. The flavour carries through from the aroma, and I'm getting a lot of that citrus come through. Bit of lychee, bit of melon come through from it, and very interesting counterbalance from the wheat malt that this beer was made with. Yeah, nice enough beer. Shame about the head. If they could correct the head on it, I think it would be an absolute fantastic beer. Maybe I've just got a bad can, I'm not sure. But great aroma, lovely light, and it is crushable. It really is crushable. I could absolutely smash this beer in one gulp if I wanted to. But that's because the body isn't too heavy and it's not too malty. And I guess that's where you get the problem arise of, you know, how do I get a beer that's got huge drinkability to it, but it also, you know, you've got to get a decent head on the top of it. That's the tough balance that brewers have with a very discerning market. Anyway, that's my views on this brew. I've really enjoyed it, but I'd like to see a bit of better head on this, to be honest with you. But otherwise, the flavours, mouthfeel, aroma, overall impression, it's just a really nice, easy, crushable, drinkable beer. Perfect for the summer, and it comes in a handy little 4-pack that you can just pick up and bag of cans, throw them in the ice bucket, and just crack them open when you want. That's the sort of size as well that's not going to do much damage to you. Anyway, cheers, sláinte. Very nice flavours, and it's on to the next one. Bye.